Mabrika, greetings, salutations, and good now. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevis Major, doing it major. And we're not here for a long time. We're just here for a good time. Just want to say, go Leo, go Leo, go Leo. Shout out to all of the Leos, man. We are officially in the Leo season. So shout out to all of the Leos who are going to be celebrating this month. We're looking at the Leos and all of the other fixated signs and maybe the other fire signs as examples of what to do and not do during this season. And so, yeah, really excited for this fixated portion of the year. We know that, you know, there's a lot of things we could just derive from fixated and fire. And we could do a bit of that um, mental gymnastics in just a few. But man, the year's just rolling along. It's just rolling along in it. And so sometimes it's good to just stop and just have some gratitude for the present moment that we're in, because the time just keeps ticking and ticking and ticking into the future. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everyone who's been rocking with me here on the channel for the past couple months. We've been quite consistent bringing the videos and the forecasts and all of the other stuff that I've been posting. We've been doing some observations, whipping out the camera and looking at the moon and the different celestial happenings. We've been seeing different planets and even just monitoring the clouds and stuff like that and the different ways and stuff. Last night we had a bloody moon, an orange moon. I'm an orange moon. It takes me back to that I think it's Erica Badu song, and she was talking about the orange moon, reflecting the light of the sun. And last night when the moon was setting, it got so bloody. It was like this, like going to get that type of hue, and they just sat there and just pondered and wondered, oh, how I wonder what you want, what it means. And we could get into all of that science as well. But, the Leo season, man, yeah, it's going to be hot and it's going to be heavy. All right, so let's get into it. So fixated, we know when we talk about the fixated quality, all of the fixed signs have their own fixated thing that they do, right? Something that they need to persistently, consistently do, steadfast in doing that thing, a bit stubborn, headstrong, but they're just solidified and grounded and, quite determined in, their element or their attribute, right? So whether it's an Aquarius, fixated way of thinking and communicating and, presenting ideas, information, networking with people. When you have, fixated, or you talk about the Tauruses, fixated, grounded, stable, organized, you know what I'm saying? Tauruses know how to manifest and really get to some physical resources, but probably more than you know what I'm saying? Look out for the Tauruses. And then we're gonna slide over there into, the Scorpios. The Scorpios fixated water, fixated on how they, relate to others, how they conduct their emotional or their internal world. They like to hold it down and really be solidified and private. And so there's a whole lot of things that will be going through a Scorpio's internal world, underworld, that you ain't even really know, and they'll never let you know, but they use that as a means of taking power and control. So you got to look out for the Scorpios. And a Scorpio would attach themselves to another person, place or thing for the sake of having power and control, because they're also ruled by a sign that loves power and control and domineering and being the boss or the head, right? Even though Scorpios, the underworld, they like to be, seen as, you know, who's running the show in their realm or reality. And then when we get to the Leos now, the fixated fire, we already discussed how all these signs are fixated. They're quite persistent, consistent, headstrong, quite determined, unwavering, right, in how they manifest their quality. And so when it comes to the fire, represents, your vision, right? Your imagination, how you see the world. And so having a fixated way of how you view and see yourself and the world around you, and trying to impregnate or imprint your view or your philosophy or your fire onto the world. And so this is great if you're an artist, if you're a philosopher, um, you're an artist and you have some visuals that you want to present to the world. But sometimes Leo could go overboard and try to hog the stage and think it's all about them. They could be quite narcissistic, even though on the flip side they could be the most loving, um you know caring signs. Because of the fire, they could just keep you warm. But if it gets too consistent or too fixated, then okay, I'm a bit too warm, I'm a bit too warm. And so we have that quality right now during this Leo season of, hogging the grand stage, right? Being too fixated. Um, and when you're too fixated and you don't know how to create a new way of foundating yourself, it looks like desperation, right? You're desperately clinging on to this thing to give you, your emotional characteristic, right? And because it's not present, it's like you get in a panic mode. You're just trying to, what I'm saying, stay fixated because you don't have the cardinal quality, or you don't have the mutable quality. You don't know how to switch it up and aikido the situation, or just let go of that and just, what I'm saying, spark another situation real quick. And so those are some of the things that we need to consider during this Leo season. Are you being too fixated, or do you know how to initiate situations, I'm saying, or be mutable and flexible and adaptable to whatever the circumstance or situation, you're facing right now, or whatever your mission or goal is, right? Now, fire. Yeah, what's your fire? What's your flame, right? What's your fire? What's your vision, your imagination, the thing that you're passionate about in terms of what you want to be involved in, or what you want to create, what you want to present to the world, what we can enjoy from you, what do you want to enjoy from the rest of the world, I'm saying, based on what your contribution is as well. So that's something for us to also consider during this Leo season. We know that we got a lot of sun, right? And so, hermetically speaking, if there's a lot of sun, a lot of light, a lot of visibility, a lot of information, a lot of exchange of information, so too that could be happening on a more mundane physical level. And so, what type of information you want to be sharing, you want to be showing, expressing, you want people to be enjoying? All of those stuff are on the cards. And so, on the flip side, there's a heavy emphasis of, or a strong emphasis of, maybe oversharing, over caring, your attention being fixated on something that doesn't necessarily benefit you in terms of your destiny. It might take you a longer time for you to get to where you have to get to because of these distractions that you may be fixated on. So that's something to look out for. And also, because we are on this grand stage, there's a lot of visibility, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of potential, right? Potential energy in the air. Some people might just want to use it all for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Being selfish, being fixated on themselves, right? So fixed signs, all fixed signs have a tendency of being quite selfish, right? Stubborn, headstrong, on a negative octane, right? Sometimes it could be good, bad, or indifferent. Let's put it that way, because there's nothing called just plain out bad or negative, right? Everything is like circumstantial. Most things, some things. All right. So as we enjoy this Leo season, guys, be safe. You know, have fun, have a lot of fun. Maybe have too much fun, but don't have too much fun, right? What I'm saying is that sometimes we got to push the limit, to expand the universe and expand ourselves, get out of our comfort zone, and don't be too fixated. Yes, there's, that personal goal or endeavor, dream, that you're pursuing, that accolade, that business, that partner, maybe that child, whatever you're trying to manifest into the world, you got to be fixated and hone it in. However, being too fixated, right, too fixated doesn't allow you to, you know, push your boundaries and your limits and limitations and go through different obstacles and meet new people and have, you know, diverse situations that ultimately build to your expansion, and those may be the situations that get you closer to my dream. I wanna get higher, higher, and closer to my dreams. Oh, so yeah, man, it's quite interesting. Right now, we're surrounded by a lot of goats. You wanna see some goats? That one over there got some really long horns. I don't know if you could see them. Some in the background. You see those type of animals. I'm gonna do another video about those goats, probably ruled by Saturn, some Capricornian type of animal. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up. This wasn't gonna be a long video, just trying to share some cheer, because we're in the Leo season. It's here, and there's a lot of magic in the air. Shout out to all of the astrologers. Shout out to all of the Kalinagos. Um, on another note, um, I'm probably the only person on the island who truly identifies as a Kalinago. I'm not really sure, but that's something that we're gonna start bringing to the forefront more of our indigenous, and I'm saying ancient indigenous um, ancestry and culture and heritage and lineage. A lot of that type of stuff is coming to the forefront. There's a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, as the Leo season progresses, the Leo is the sign of courage, right? And so we're going to be sharing a lot of things. This is the age of Aquarius. And so as I'm learning, we're going to be, sharing as well. And so history, culture, astrology, hermetics, what else? Herbal medicine, music, everything. And so we're really looking forward to the time ticking, 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 because that's us measuring our progression or regression, right? And so sometimes we got to go backwards to take some steps forward. We had a few retrogrades, and now we're going forward. Saturn, however, is going to go retrograde. And so, low key, I'm kind of looking forward to that. We're going to talk about that in another video because the memory is about to run out. And so, major farewell until we meet or greet again. I need to get the Kalinago farewells don't pack. I think I got Mabrika, and I'm going to start, tap it back into the vocabulary in the language. So, yeah, look out for more Kalinago words and phrases here and there. All right, major farewell until we meet or greet again.